join in the pleasure and excitement. See a ball game often. Follow your local team. It's fun for the entire family.
By the looks of my watch, it's officially grave time. I'm in Elk Grove, California, located in Sacramento County, here at East Lawn Elk Grove Memorial Park and Mortuary, or as I call it, East Lawn Memorial Park, Elk Grove. Well, it's officially spring, and you know what that means? Allergy season. True story. If you live in Northern California or the Central Valley, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But something positive that comes out of spring is baseball season, and I'm happy it's here. And so far, my San Francisco Giants are doing a great job. 12 miles north of Elk Grove is the capital city of California, Sacramento. And there is a stadium that's got baseball going on almost every single day, and that is Sutter Health Park. That is home to the Sacramento River Cats, which are part of the Pacific Coast League and the minor league team for the San Francisco Giants. However, currently they're also sharing their stadium with the Athletics, otherwise known as the A's, as they have left Oakland and waiting for their stadium to be built in Las Vegas, Nevada. They are residing here in Sacramento for the next 3 to maybe 4 years. Sacramento has always been a staple for baseball, going all the way back to the Gold Rush era. Teams like the Alta, the Scats, Gilt Edge, the Senators, and the Solons. Now, speaking of the Solons, here at East Lawn Memorial Park in Elk Grove are 2 baseball players. Both played for the Sacramento Solons, and even had a chance to play in Major League Baseball. One has an interesting story to tell, and the other one is a local boy who needs a lot more respect. So, join me on this video as I show you where their graves are located, so that hopefully, if you're in the area, you'll come and you'll pay your respects to these individuals. And if you live here in Elk Grove, California, like myself, you should be proud of the baseball connection in your hometown. This upright tombstone, possessing of these beautiful red and yellow flowers, is the grave of Vernal Leroy Jones, otherwise known as Nippy, at rest here with his wife, Nora. Nippy was born on June 29, 1925, in Los Angeles, California. He passed away on October 3, 1995, in Sacramento, California, at age 70. Nippy Jones was 6'1", and he threw and batted right-handed. At age 16, he started playing baseball with the American Legion Sunset Post in 1942. That same season, they won the World Championship. I found an interesting article with a quote from Baseball Hall of Famer Ted Williams, who said that Nippy learned baseball from his coach, Mike Cattron. In 1943, Nippy is now 17 years old and graduates from Fremont High School in Inglewood, California. Right out of high school, he signs a contract to the St. Louis Cardinals to play for the minor league team up north in Sacramento. He played for the Sacramento Solons for a very short period of time, batting a .304 batting average. As I mentioned earlier, his birthday was on June 29th, and 6 weeks after his birthday, he had to sign up for the draft, and he got picked. Decided to serve for the United States Marines. He was gone from playing baseball for 2 years. After serving his country, Nippy got his foot back in the door in 1946, playing in the minor leagues for the Rochester Red Wings. However, towards the end of the season, the St. Louis Cardinals needed his help. So there he went to play in the World Series against the Boston Red Sox. And guess what? That season, the Cardinals won the World Series. Now, to and from, for the next several years, he would go from playing for the Red Wings and also back to the St. Louis Cardinals. He would play for the Cardinals from 1946 to 1951 with a batting average of .254. Coming out of his up and down season with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1952, he was sent to the Philadelphia Phillies, where he spent probably about the first month and a half with the team, and then getting kicked back to the minor league team, the Baltimore Orioles. The 1953 baseball season had Nippy Jones sent back to Sacramento, playing for the Solons from 1953 to 1956. What's interesting is during this era, he would meet his future cemetery buddy, Richie Myers, who are both buried here at East Lawn Memorial Park in Elk Grove. Well, folks, there's an old saying that lightning doesn't strike twice. But guess what? Nippy now gets an opportunity here in the 1957 season to play Major League Baseball once again, this time for the Milwaukee Braves. And this is a very pivotal moment in his career, and this sets the stage for who he becomes in baseball history. Nippy is with the Milwaukee Braves, who bought him out of his St. Louis Cardinals contract, and now they're going to the World Series to take on the New York Yankees. It was during this time that Nippy played a role in something known as the shoe polish incident. In a Sacramento Bee article from September 22, 1991, Nippy Jones is interviewed about the shoe polish incident, and it states, "In the bottom of the 10th inning of Game 4, with the Braves trailing 5-4, manager Fred Haney called upon Jones to pinch hit for pitcher Warren Spahn. Jones purchased from the Sacramento Solons in an emergency replacement for injury first baseman Joe Attic, was in his second series at bat. Tommy Byrne, a hard-throwing left-hander, was pitching for the Yankees." Nippy says, "I know Byrne. When we were both in the Pacific Coast League, I knew he was going to start me out with a bad curve, something low and inside, hoping I'd go after it. Byrne did, but Jones didn't bite. Instead, he took the pitch and was hit on the foot. Jones headed for first, but umpire Augie Donatelli called him back, saying the pitch was a ball. Instead of returning to the plate, Jones headed towards the backstop to retrieve the ball. He was followed by Yankee catcher Yogi Berra. Yogi knew the ball hit my foot too," Jones said. "I had to get the ball before he did because I knew he'd throw it into the stands." Jones got the ball and pointed out to Donatelli the black smudge on it, caused by the polish from his shoes. He was awarded first. That started a rally that ended with Hall of Famer Eddie Matthews hitting a home run that gave the Braves a 7-5 victory. Milwaukee went on to win the series in 7 games. "It's a funny thing," Jones said. "Nobody remembers Matthews' home run to win the game, but they remember me getting hit on the foot." After Nippy's shoe-shining moment, he returned back to Sacramento to play for the Solons for the next couple of years. That first year back, 1958, at the end of the season, he was awarded a trophy for being a fan favorite of the Solons. His last final season would be 1959, and ultimately retiring from baseball in 1960. Outside of baseball, Nippy would continue to meet up with fans and have team reunions. For 27 years, he worked in Sacramento for a title insurance business, ultimately retiring in 1987, and from there, becoming a professional fisherman, teaching people how to fish along the Sacramento River, preferably in the Freeport area of town. As I mentioned earlier, Nippy Jones had passed away on October 3rd, 1995. What is interesting is 2 days later, another local legend had passed away on the 5th. That would be Dick Juergens. For those who don't know, he was a big band leader in Sacramento who became very popular with hit songs like Daydreams Come True at Night, as well as Elmer's Tune. And what's cool is Elmer's Tune became really popular through Glenn Miller when he did a rendition of it. From the grave of Nippy Jones, we're going to head on over to our last and final baseball player, Richie Myers. The following flathead grave marker that's in really bad condition, and I will speak of that towards the end of the video, belongs to Richard and Loretta Myers. Now, Richard went by the name Richie, and he was born on April 7th, 1930 in Sacramento, California. He passed away on June 24th, 2011 at age 81 in Yreka, California. Richie was a true baseball player, through and through. He loved the sport so much, and in his late teens, he started out playing for the Florin American Legion Junior Baseball League from 1946 through 1948. He was known as the ace pitcher for the team, and in one game, he struck out 23 batters. Richie Myers grew up in Elk Grove, California with his family and attended Elk Grove High School. There he played baseball. It was his true passion. He was an all-star pitcher, and he was notorious for striking out batters all the time. For instance, in a 1947 newspaper article that I found online, during his sophomore year, he struck out 8 batters from Cortland High School in one game. All in all, he hurled 6 no-hit, no-run ball games during his time at Elk Grove High School. Richie Myers was such a great ball player, playing in Florin for the American Legion Junior team and Elk Grove High School. It created a buzz within the baseball community. People living in Elk Grove and Sacramento and surrounding areas would come out to see him play baseball. This stirred up a lot of interest and got the attention of a scout from New York, and together they sent Richie out to New York to play for the Yankees, to try out. The funny thing is they find out that he's 16 years old, and unfortunately it's a legal issue, so they can't let him play. So they send him back to Elk Grove without a contract. But that just shows how much of a great baseball player he really was. Richie graduated from Elk Grove High School in early June of 1948. Upon graduation, the school retired his jersey number. Richie was one of the most sought-after baseball players during the summer of 1948. And right out of high school, he signed a deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. From there, they sent them to the farm team of the Sacramento Solons, and he played for the Anaheim Valencias for a couple weeks before coming back to Sacramento and signing to the Solons to play for the 1948 season. Richie Myers would play for the Sacramento Solons from the 1948 season all the way to 1956 season. He would play shortstop, and he was a right-handed batter and thrower. He was 5'6" with shoes on. In the Sacramento Bee and Sacramento Union, they would say that he was actually 5'5". And what's interesting, in a newspaper article from the Union on May 10th, 1953, stating that Richie was the smallest shortstop in Pacific Coast League history until Clem Koshrick came in at 5'4" with the Hollywood Stars minor league baseball team. During Richie's time with the Sacramento Solons, the local papers would always criticize his size. He was either too small or he was too short. The Solons were always trying to get him to pack on weight during the off season to kind of bulk up. During his baseball career, most specifically for the Sacramento Solons, Richie Myers had a couple of nicknames that were given to him by sports writer Bill Conlon for the Sacramento Union. and in 1952 gave him the name Richie the Rabbit. However, that only showed up in a couple articles that I found online. In every other article that I found, he was referred to as the Elk Grove Elfin. In the off-season of baseball, Richie was a truck driver for a company up in Auburn, California. He would get very caught up in the job, and there would be even times during the early 1950s of his Sacramento Solons career that he would miss part of the early season. The Sacramento Solons wanted to honor Richie Myers, and they did so by having a Richie Myers Day on September 14th, 1952. It stated in a newspaper article that the crowd was full of people from Elk Grove, there to support their local boy. Throughout Richie Myers' career with the Sacramento Solons, he had a .261 batting average with 45 home runs in 937 games and a .964 fielding percentage as a shortstop. During the 1956 season, Richie Myers got the opportunity of a lifetime to go and play for the majors. He was sent out to the Chicago Cubs, where he was a pinch runner, pinch hitter. However, he only played 4 games in a matter of 2 weeks. From there, the Chicago Cubs sent Richie Myers back to the minors in Los Angeles playing for the Angels. However, most of that season he was benched, and in June through August he was out sick. He had a cold, and then from his cold he had chest pain, and he was on the injured list until the end of the season. The 1956 season was not the best for Richie Myers. And in the following year, 1957, early part of the year, he never heard back from the Los Angeles Angels, so he decided to quit baseball altogether. He said that if I can't play for the majors, I shouldn't play. However, he would continue to play baseball locally in Elk Grove, and he even had a job working for the city of Sacramento as a street sweeper. He eventually retired from his city job, spent a lot of time with his family and his friends. He would go hunting and fishing, and even play some rounds of golf. I think the legacy of Richie Myers is that he was such a great ball player. However, when it came to the major leagues, he wasn't given a fair shot. And I think that's a huge bummer. But the fact that he still got an opportunity to play for the Cubs, at least for a couple weeks, is his opportunity to say, I made it to the pros. If you've made it this far into the video, kudos to you. It means you don't have a short attention span. But as you can see, Richie and Loretta Myers' marker is in terrible shape. It's fallen apart. And it has been falling apart slowly over the years. About a year ago, I reached out to East Lawn Memorial Park, Elk Grove, and told them about this marker. I said, hey, this is another baseball player, much like Nippy Jones, who played for the Sacramento Solons and went on to play the pros. Yeah, it was brief, but I said, I'd really like to see his marker fully restored. So they said that they have to reach out to the next of kin, which is a family member. So like I said, that was a year ago, and it's still falling apart. Nothing has been done about it. I'm not upset at East Lawn Memorial Park, Elk Grove, but I would like something done about it on their end. Correct this wrong. Because once this marker completely falls apart, it'll be lost. And once it's lost, their legacy and their memory is gone forever. That's what a tombstone is. That's what a grave marker is. It's all that is left of you. It's for the living to see who is actually there. Once that's gone, they're gone forever. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Grave Time. This particular subject on Nippy Jones and Richie Myers has taken me 2.5 years to do all the research, not to mention going on location and filming this several different times, and to spend 12 hours editing this video. So it would mean a lot to me if, number one, you would hit the like button, the thumbs up. It will bring people into my channel. Also, if you've never watched any of my episodes, please consider subscribing to my channel as well as hitting that notification bell so you can be in the loop of the next Grave Time adventure. I do hope that someday, sooner than later, that Richie and Loretta Myers will get their grave marker fully restored. If anyone knows the family, please reach out to them and let them know the condition of their marker. And I do hope that East Lawn can follow through and get this repaired. Once again, thank you so much for watching this episode of Grave Time. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye.